Hey guys, it's me, Leah, and today
Alright, guys.
there will be one thing for you guys, but me reacting. I don't know, it's a weird thing to say. It's a Michael MJD chair video. If you haven't watched this channel already, let me tell you, everything goes wrong. This video starring Windows NT on the 90s mystery PC, but everything goes wrong.
Guys, I think it's about time for some hard drive errors. Woo! Not ready? What do you mean not ready? You're a freaking hard drive. You don't get to decide if you're ready or not. So you want to know what my favorite thing to do in the entire world is? Well, it's having screws go all over the place when you try to unscrew them.
Guys, this is not sponsored by Reload or anything. It's just a video we're launching, and prepare for almost an entire hour-long video, because this is a half-hour video. This is an almost 40-minute video. Yeah, I know. It's what long it was, let me tell you that. But anything will go crazy in a little bit, okay? But the video we're watching is of Michael's that I reacted to. I should say words. Can speak at 5:45 a.m. But yes, guys, my computer came in last night. But let me tell you, me, my brother, and my mother, me, and my brother, the three of us, were having the hardest of times finding the power button. You checked up here, because on my other computer, the power button was right up here, where the side bar is. Then my mama checked on the side. It was on the side, So what is it? This is funniest of times. We've had it. So this is so how we missed it.
Thanks to Linode for sponsoring today's Descent into Utter Chaos. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video. Now in today's episode, you can see it's finally time to revisit the 90s mystery custom-built PC. What's taken so long, you might ask? Well, number one, I have been moving, though that is pretty much done now, so that's super awesome. But number two, as you can see, this computer has kind of been in a state of disrepair, and that is all thanks to the wonderful power supply, which shortly after I filmed the last video with this thing, decided to just break and stop working entirely. Now, I'm certainly not an expert when it comes to power supply repair. I pretty much checked the fuse in this thing, it's still intact, and I just kind of stopped there. Because I had this replacement power supply that we're going to be installing in this thing, which is much newer, and I'd rather have a newer power supply in this thing anyways. So, yeah, we're going to be swapping out the power supply in this video, and we're also going to be swapping out the CD drive as well. Not because the CD drive is non-functional, it still works totally fine, but because the front plastic piece here broke off, I think also shortly after I filmed the last video. So it's all in like 3 or 4 different pieces, so instead of trying to glue those back together or find a replacement.
Guys, I tell you, when he inserted the power supply, he inserted this time out. You take out that power supply, you can see right over his hand is not the blurred out one, but the one on the other side of the CD player. Doesn't these are the SATA connectors instead of modex connectors. They even have place. Have even had adapters for. Let's have the power supply swap again because that's the chart, right?
Front panel that would exactly fit this particular drive here. We're just going to install a replacement drive here, which is a bit newer than this computer. It was manufactured in 2002, which will actually make this the newest component in this computer unless I do any more upgrades. So, yeah. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, if you haven't noticed, which I don't know if you did because I don't think I showed you the back of this power supply here, this is a modern ATX power supply. And if you remember from any of the previous videos on this thing, this is an AT-style motherboard, which means that it has a completely different set of connectors that it uses, you know, to receive voltage from the power supply, these right here. So, how on earth are we going to make this work? Well, through the use of this fancy little adapter right here, which converts an ATX power supply so you can use
a major downside to using a good adapter like this that many ATX power supplies like this one they have a favor upper to power the ISA slot.
it in an AT style system, and we're going to be kind of setting that up.
On this computer is a huge issue because this display adapters, the PC, is because the display adapter is PCI. However, the sound of the card and modem ISA, so they didn't need changing.
Today I'll be showing you how you wire these switch because, yeah, these AT systems had a physical power switch on.
It's got a remote switch because it is located on the power supply itself.
Them that actually interrupted the flow of power. And by using this power supply, we're going to make this system safer to use because number one, it's newer and hopefully at least less prone to failure. But number two, because we're no longer going to be passing 110 volt AC power directly through this power switch here. That's actually the way these older AT style power supplies worked. On the back here, you've got your standard IEC connector, which you plug into the wall. You see you have those brown and blue wires, which run through this thick cable here into one side of the switch, and then when you flick the power switch on, it basically allows power to flow from these two to these two other wires here, which run back through the switch. They provide power to this other IEC connector here, and then more importantly, they run actually through the power supply circuitry to convert this to DC power, which then gets sent to the motherboard. That's what makes these ATX power supplies much safer because everything coming out of this has already been converted to DC power. Now, it's not like this would be an issue if you never opened up your computer and just used it normally, but if you had no idea what you were doing, and you opened up this computer with it still plugged in, which obviously you should never do, but again, let's say you didn't know what you were doing, and you took off the front panel here and started messing around with the switch wiring, that is not going to end well at all, because even with the system off, when it's still plugged in, 110 volts is being sent to one side of the switch here. So yeah, absolutely.
Game one switch. I did do a game one, but I trust the iPad here. Yes, this is a Galaxy Tab A. So I did a Monday's video today because I was starting to get tired. It was really late past my bedtime, but so I'll be uploading and editing 2 videos. But like I said, I don't want to edit this out all. So, but Don't you worry. I got 2 devices, and he's supposed to have a mobile so I can take him anywhere. Because this I can throw the screen down and transport it with me. And along with my tablet.
Absolutely not going to end well. So we're just going to flip this machine around here to get started, and we're going to put our power supply. Let me just get all these IDE cables out of the way.
Just out of the way.
Put them over here, and we're going to just install this power supply, and it looks like it's going to go in like this. There we go. The next thing we're going to do is put the front panel back on because I'm tired of this thing moving around all the time. It's quite obnoxious. Let's put this thing down like this and focus on the drives here in the front bay. Help if I put it in the right way, don't you think? And here is the new CD drive. Of course, we got to get the hard drive as well. So now comes the wiring. And
as far as this HP, guys, that's actually like most screen now, which for me is a huge bonus. And this is still a 14-inch, but when I was looking at it, the HP logo of the front on my computer, it looked like it was on smart. It is on, at least here.
One thing that I did overlook here is that this power supply has SATA connectors instead of Molex. Well, I don't have any adapters, but I do have another power supply that is still ATX, but, you know, has Molex connectors on it. So we're going to go ahead and do a quick power supply swap again. Because the third time is the charm, right? Alright, so we've got all that wired up, and now we actually get to use the adapter here. Now, this is, at least the other one went, oh no, look at that! This is a 20-pin, I almost said IDE, ATX connector. The one on the other power supply was 24-pin, so I was going to have to break one of these off to be able to plug them in. But this here is 20-pin, so we can just connect it right up. No problem. Look at that. We're going to take a look at this connector right here and plug these wires into it by lining up the black wires like that to figure out which one goes where. And last but not least, we've got the switch wiring to take a look at. And there we go. Now, we don't have anything to plug into these bottom connectors here because we're not going to be running anything back to the power supply to allow it to turn on. The switch is no longer going to be interrupting the flow of power. It's actually going to be acting as kind of a glorified paper clip because what we're basically doing is jumping the power supply so it turns on by connecting the green wire to the black wire. Oh boy, yeah, it seems like nothing can ever go right on this channel, even off camera, because holy crap, guys, it's just been quite the adventure going on behind the scenes here. The first issue that I encountered trying to power this thing on is that I actually wired the switch wrong, the key 9.
Okay, because I'm laughing down a tree. Guys, have a glass of water afterwards, guys. I'm actually having a glass of water. Stand by.
Among you may have been able to figure that out and have probably already commented about it. Don't worry, I know the problem here. I just had both of these wires plugged into the same side of the switch. So when you flick the power switch to turn it on, obviously nothing's going to happen. You have to have one plugged in the one side, one plugged in the other side. So we've got that solved now. But that was not the major problem. The major problem actually was with the power supply itself. It seemed like this was going to work, because why wouldn't it? We've got everything plugged in properly, we've got the switch wired, but watch what happens when I take my lovely power cable here and plug it into, let me make sure the switch is off, it is. We'll plug it in and let's power it on. Nothing happens at all. So I'm thinking to myself, what on earth is the issue? There's no way this power supply is bad. I pulled it from a working system. So why isn't this turning on? But then when I flipped the machine around, I noticed something a little bit intriguing here. So take a close look at the fan here when I flick the power switch. Yeah, look at that. It tries to turn on. So then my mind immediately went to, oh, this is some sort of wattage issue. Maybe the power supply is overloaded. So I went ahead and let's just unplug this here. We'll turn the computer around and let's unplug, you know, the hard drive here, let's say. We'll get this Molex connector out. Let's try it now. We'll plug this back in and let's try to turn it on. Still doesn't work. Okay, so let's unplug it again, and let's unplug the optical drive, maybe. You know what, actually, why don't we just unplug every single drive that's plugged into this thing right now, because if you can't already tell, we're going to have to swap out the power supply. Gosh, these Molex connectors are a pain to get out sometimes. So we'll get that one out, we'll get the one from the floppy drive out. So the only things that we have plugged in are the adapter going to the motherboard and the CPU fan. So now let's try this. We'll plug it in and let's turn it on. And look at that, it powers up, no problem. We can see on the monitor back here, you have to look at it through the case. But it will, oh, well, it would help if I actually put in the display cable here. And would you look at that, it works totally fine. But I'm thinking to myself, this is a 250 watt power supply. That's 50 watts more than the original power supply. How on earth is it having trouble powering on? And then I had a major brainwave. Maybe this original power supply isn't bad at all. Maybe it was just overloaded from the very beginning. Now, I don't remember if all of these drives were plugged into the power supply when I first turned it on. But I certainly had everything plugged into it when I was trying to turn it on after I recorded when I first.
I looked back at the footage and all of the drives were plugged in.
First turned it on. But I certainly had everything plugged into it when I was trying to turn it on after I recorded that video, and, well, it didn't work. And I don't think I saw the fan in the power supply move, but this thing could still be good. I don't know. But maybe it's not, because the other odd thing is I tried to use a 300 watt power supply in this computer as well, and that still did not allow everything to power on. So then I had to go and pull this 485 watt power supply out of a spare system I had, and this is the only power supply that actually allows everything to power on. Now, that seems really bizarre to me, that a computer...
Bizarre. Me too. Like a 350 watt power, like a 1500 watt power supply works for everything in the hard drive, and just realize that it was in 4,000 watts of power to power CPU, the CPU fan, optical, hard drives, and the entire system, really. So, guys, make sure you check the connectors first, either the SATA or Molex connectors. Molex are white, and SATA are black. The black connectors, okay,
computer from 1996 would need almost 500 watts of power to power a motherboard, a hard drive, a CD drive, a tape drive, and a floppy drive, and obviously the CPU fan. Like, that's a lot of wattage. This is the kind of stuff you have to deal with when you self-host a server. Hardware upgrades, endless backups, and trying to find a place to put everything. But with Linode, you don't have to worry about any of that. Their Linux-based virtual machines help millions of people with their cloud computing needs every single day. If you're looking to host a website or even a game server, Linode can get you up and running starting at just $5 per month. And you don't have to be an expert on using Linux either, thanks to Linode's app marketplace, which gives you a wide variety of applications and game servers to choose from CSGO and TF2 to website creation tools like WordPress. Heck, you could even make your own private cloud storage server with Nextcloud. And as a thank you for watching this video, if you sign up for a new Linode account through my link in the video description, you'll get a free $100 credit that you can use on any of Linode's services for 60 days. That'll get you 2 months worth of a quad-core Linode with 8GB of RAM and 160GB of SSD storage for completely free. So be sure to check them out and tell them I sent you. And maybe take me with you because this frickin' computer is driving me nuts. So maybe this is something to do with this adapter cable. Maybe it does actually need this much wattage, I don't know. But either way, we're going to install this power supply in the system so we can actually get it to power on. Alright guys, I think it's about time for some hard drive errors, woo! So yeah, this is what I was greeted with when we tried to boot up into Windows 98. We've got a scan disk error while trying to read cluster 15.134. It's going to try to continue past this error, but when it offers to perform a surface scan, choose yes. Okay, let's see if it can successfully scan the drive. This already doesn't look promising. I mean, the hard drive, it worked totally fine, though it was, I mean, I don't know, maybe it was failing before, and all the rattling around during the move finally screwed up the read-write head, who knows. Also, the turbo light on the computer, it's not actually slowing down the processor speed. The turbo button isn't even wired, so this just doesn't do anything at all. Just thought I would mention that. Looks like we're at 32% here. Not really moving along. Well, I would like to boot into this thing before I end up wiping this drive, because yes, I am going to wipe this drive. I did get a few comments on the original video, or not the original video, but when I explored the contents of this drive, because there's a lot of stuff on here, and if you guys missed that video, you can go check it out up in the cards here. That was the first follow-up to this thing. When I was exploring the hard drive, I discovered that there's a lot of personal data on here. Some of it I just didn't even bother opening up. Like, there's a QuickBooks database on here, or a QuickBooks file, whatever you want to call it. And I got some people commenting saying that, you know, I shouldn't wipe the hard drive because, you know, this is like a time capsule and you should just leave it intact. And, you know, I don't really think that's right. If this hard drive didn't have, like, any personally identifiable information on it, then, yeah, I would probably just leave it as is and just install programs and stuff on top of it. But I know, personally, that if one of my old computers with personal data on it got donated or something without me knowing, I don't know how that would happen, but, you know, let's say that it happened and someone else got my personal data, I would much rather have the personal data wiped and never be able to access it than have it fall into somebody else's hands who could potentially do something malicious with it. So that's why I'm going to wipe this drive. I understand people's desire to, like, archive things. I'm all for that. I archive as much stuff as I can. I'm not going to certainly publish any of the personal data on here online somewhere, but I also don't feel right keeping it around, because who knows, one day maybe all this could fall into somebody else's hands and they might not have the nicest intent when it comes to wanting to respect people's privacy. So I am going to wipe this hard drive, though it might not even look like I have to do that, because we're still on 32% here and I've been recording for like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
so it doesn't look like we're really getting anywhere. Maybe this drive is finally dead. I mean, it doesn't really, it's not clicking a whole lot. I mean, I can hear the read-write head moving, but it's definitely not clicking at all. So maybe we'll just have to get a replacement hard drive for this thing. I'll try to restart here. I mean, it did boot into Windows 98, obviously. I mean, that's how ScanDisk came up. It went to the Windows 98 boot screen, and then ScanDisk came up, and I left the room and came back, and I saw that you know, message about the bad sector, but it is recognizing, I mean, that Mac Store primary master is the hard drive, and then that that light on whatever CD drive is the CD drive, which you know, we'll see if it can actually recognize something if we can boot into Windows here. And let's just maybe skip scan disk here. Let's do an Alt X and just let it bypass that, and we'll see what it does. I do have a copy of Hiren's boot CD. We can boot off of that and run one of the hard drive diagnostic tools on it and see kind of what we're working with here. I do have my copy of D-Band, but it is on a DVD, so I'll have to reburn it to a CD to use it in this drive here. And my copy of Hiren's, that should be on a CD. I know I have a copy. Oh, here's my DVD copy of Hiren's. Yeah, I used to just put everything on DVDs because I didn't really have a whole lot of CDs lying around, and most of these computers that I used back, you know, however many years ago had DVD drives. So, like, I've got Windows Me on a DVD. That makes no sense, but it was just because I had more DVDs than CDs. And yeah, I was right. Here you go. Data error reading drive C. We'll retry. Yeah, this is definitely not looking promising. I gotta dig through my other spiral here. So this is the much larger one. No, it's actually not the largest one that I have. I've got so many CDs, guys, it's like not even funny. It's why I'm so glad I switched to using rewritable CDs. Did I say DVDs or CDs? Whatever. I've got a lot of both now. But yeah, I switched to, like, when I started YouTube full-time in 2020, I decided, you know, I'm going to be burning a lot of stuff. Why don't I get some rewritable CDs? And that was, like, one of the best decisions I've ever made. So it's failed here again. Sector not found, reading drive C. Let's retry that, maybe. I know I've got Hiren's in here. Like, where? Come on.
There's Hiren's.
Open Linux, the unintended boot CD, Windows 7 all-in-one, Ubuntu 4.10, Calibri OS. You remember this? Yeah, I probably should do something on that. I've mentioned that on the channel before. OS 10 developer preview, Kaspersky rescue disk. Gosh, kind of forgot I had a lot of this stuff here. If this thing is really at the bottom of this spiral, I don't know how. OS 2, OS 2, OS 2. I know you guys can't see any of this. Oh yeah, here is Windows Me upgrade on a DVD. Like I was talking about. I just find that really funny. Okay, where is this thing? You know what? I think it's in. I think I have it in another location. I'm gonna have to go and find it here. Go and pull that out. But that's my second spiral of CDs down. We have another sector not found. Okay, let's maybe ignore it, which is not good at all, but we'll try that. Oh, that's wonderful. It's now safe to turn off your computer, so it just gave up. There it is. Oh my gosh, I found it. It was in the first spiral. I somehow missed it. Hiren's boot CD, everybody. What a classic. So we're just gonna just get the timer to go away there. We're gonna pop in the CD, and hopefully the CD drive here will work, so we'll restart. And I don't know if the computer is configured to boot off of the... It's probably not. It's probably going to go straight to the hard drive because the CD... Yep, alright. Got to enter setup, it looks like. Let's go. Let's see here. Would it be under standard CMOS? No, that's not the boot order. BIOS features. I think in here, yeah, boot sequence AC. We want to change that to page up and page down to modify. Okay, CD-ROM. See, that's so annoying, though. Like, why isn't there... Like, CD-ROM CA. Like, I want the floppy drive first, then the CD-ROM, then the C drive. You've got C drive, CD-ROM, then the floppy. C drive, then the floppy. Floppy, then the C drive only. And then this is all we have. So, okay, we're just going to have to go with that. That's fine. And, alright, we'll quit, and then save and exit setup. Yes. Love that old Energy Star screen here. I really need to get a CRT monitor. I had a couple people reach out to me in the past, and it looks like it's booting. There we go. Yeah, okay, so the C drive works. That's great. Yeah, I have had a few people reach out to me in the past and offer to donate CRTs, but I turned them down because at the time I didn't have enough space for them. Now, what this table we're sitting at here is going to be my dedicated vintage PC setup. I'm going to finally have like 2 computers here, or probably more through the use of KVM switches. Dedicated setups, so I don't have to keep using that table I always use and set everything up every time that I record a video. I'll just have dedicated setups for the 98 PC, for this computer, and probably for some other systems as well. And having a CRT would be really nice, just to kind of get the full 90s experience. Yeah, I'm really excited about it, guys. There's a lot that's been going on behind the scenes in terms of setting up the studio room. It's there's definitely still some more things that I have to get done, but it's coming together, and I'm really excited about it. And I'll definitely do a little tour video at some point. I don't know when, but yeah, why not? So it looks like it's giving us a message here about A20 debug C806 done, and we got nothing. So is this good? This is just, oh my god! And I can't even press Control at Delete now. So the system's completely locked up.
Yeah.
I don't know what. Oh my god, this is going to be such a long video, it's not even funny. I was planning on installing Windows NT4 because we never do anything with NT4. I think the only installation video we did was the French copy that was sent to me, which really appreciate that donation, and all your guys' donations once again. They really help the channel. Yeah, that was a super fun video. But, you know, I don't have an NT system, and I thought it would be cool to install NT on here, though I'm thinking about 3.1 as well, because this is certainly the oldest system I have right now that's not a Mac, and that's not the compact portable one. Yes, that is still something I have. It is still something I want to finish, but it's been, I know it's been a year since we did part 1. All I can say is part 2 is coming at some point, but I do not know when right now. It's not really a major priority because, well, I've run into more problems. This is kind of nice while this stuff is like not working to kind of give you guys some updates on other projects going on behind the scenes. So yeah, Compact Portable 1 repair is something I want to do, or want to finish rather, at some point. I've not forgotten about it, if you guys were wondering about that. I think I'm going to have to do a hard reset again. I literally cannot press Control at Delete. Okay. I mean, that did boot off the CD drive, so I don't think that's a hardware issue, but I don't know why it didn't just boot into the menu. Oh, I wonder if it saved our settings, because I think the CMOS batteries... Oh no, it's boot from CD-ROM. And then we get here. Okay. I wonder, you know what, there might not be enough memory in this system. The Windows 98 unattended boot CD, I think there were some tools on that CD. Yeah, I did a video on this thing back in, that was probably like, what, 2018, 2017, something like that. This is a neat, well, it's an unattended boot CD for Windows 98. It looks like it's, am I going to have to hard reset this again? Let's try to hit the reset button on the computer. There we go. Yeah, so this is it allows you to have a Windows 98 unattended setup, basically. But if I'm not mistaken, I think there are some other, it's definitely boot from CD-ROM. Okay, let's see. Load, check your RAM for errors. Yeah, so there are some other options on here. Partition your hard drive. Let's just do optimal device drivers and start main menu. It's been a while since I've seen this. Okay. So a lot of this stuff is set up, partition menu, DOS tools, and utilities. That's what we're going to do. So let's see. We've got hard disk diagnostic version 2.10 and Bart's disk tool. We also have Microsoft diagnostics. Let's do 3. Hard disk diagnostic version.
Well, guys, this all takes longer. So prepare for an hour. Just be prepared for 45 minutes to an hour, at the very least, possibly 2. So, and I have a YouTube notification on here, and I'll do a check, but not right now. We do this YouTube video that just memory. Doing this. Got it. Did a Boba Tuesday, and you guys have to see that again. I did take pretty much a break for YouTube, except for my coloring channel, because of needing to use my iPad. But then, yeah, so here's That will be exciting to bring it back. I did do it, and I stopped doing it for some reason. I want to bring it back. Guys, the next photo I'm using in this video, I'm using the webcam, so if your computer doesn't have it as a desktop PC, you do want a separate one, but like I said, I'm using a separate one, and I use a built-in one, but this photo has a slide, because covers. It's a lot hot. I keep losing it. They're magnetic, and you can take them off, and you can misplace them. But this is nice having this fly, because one swipe, and you will never need to lose it again. So yeah, let's continue unboxing.
Version 2.10, copyright Jim Bracking. Okay, so tests that will not destroy user data. Let's do a F5. Run all tests and drive. It should be drive 1. Run continuously. No. And control F1 to start. And I hear the hard drive, so I selected the right one. Oh, there we go. Got a couple errors. More than a couple errors.
More than a couple of errors.
Yeah, so it's kind of looking like this drive is on the way out. So it passed the read-write test, it failed the head select test, it passed the seek test, and it failed the ECC test. Those were all of the tests that we did. We could do, like I said, we could try to recover data from this drive, but it just doesn't really make any sense because we don't, I have no intention of saving any of this data. So we're just going to get out of this. We'll, how do we get out of this? A F10. Okay, so we'll do, or Alt F10 probably is exit. There we go. So I'm just going to turn the computer off, and we're going to put in this replacement hard drive, which is a Seagate Barracuda 40 gigabyte drive, certainly newer than this computer here, and it's also not an IDE drive, it is SATA, so we're going to have to use a SATA to IDE adapter, of course, to actually get this thing working. So this is not going to be a permanent solution, but it will work for us right now, so we can finish this video and get Windows NT installed on this thing. You want to know something great too that was, oh my gosh, like talk about stuff going wrong but not in the actual video. So I was using my iPhone as a B cam, right? This camera right here that I'm shaking right now is the main camera, my GH5. I always have it directly at the monitor. My iPhone I use as a secondary camera to get those shots of the computer and the monitor, so I can swap to that when I'm like changing disks in the drives or you know, powering it on and stuff like that. Well, for some reason, that video file became corrupted, sort of, because it plays perfectly fine on my iPhone, but when I try to copy the file to my computer, it copies the file, but it won't open in VLC Media Player. I can bring it into Premiere Pro, but it's only 10 seconds long and then it cuts off. So the video file is corrupted when you copy it to the computer. So then I'm like, well, on a Mac, it has to be, you know, it has to work, right? Because it's a Mac and this is an iPhone. And come on, it has to work together. No, didn't work at all. Opened up Photos, tried to import it. The import failed. It would not play back the video on the Mac at all. So I've tried everything. I tried trimming the video. That did not work. I mean, so I have no idea what happened because it plays perfectly fine on the iPhone. Completely fine. So now what I'm doing is I'm running an AirPlay server on my Windows machine. I'm AirPlaying the iPhone to that computer, so the video plays back on my monitor, and then I'm screen capturing the video so I just don't lose it. And that's why there's no B cam right now, because I can't use my iPhone to record while I'm using it to AirPlay. It's so convoluted, but I'm like, I'm not gonna just delete this video file without trying to get something out of it. So okay, I'm just gonna put this hard drive. Let's just change the camera angle. So you want to know what my favorite thing to do in the entire world is? Well, it's having screws go all over the place when you try to unscrew them. But no, it's I mean, that's something I thoroughly enjoy. I hope that happens every single time that I take a screw out, is that it just goes all over the place in seemingly impossible, directions there. But yeah, one thing I love is removing all the screws from a computer that I just reassembled, thinking that I was done working in here, and then I always inevitably have to open it back up again, because I think to myself, oh, there's no way, I mean, I'm going to have to get back in here, it's going to work totally fine, and it never does, because now I got to take this back off. Let's unplug all these cables from here, just so we can, get the side panel off. Got to take this glorious thing back off. Yeah, at least that sounded pretty cool. So we'll take this drive out of here. This frickin' Molex connector, man, is a total pain. Alright, this thing I'm just taking out of here, and we're just gonna come back to that later. Okay, let me grab our, I almost said IDE drive, our SATA drive here. We're gonna put that in. Come on. Come on, you can do it. I don't want to have to move the card. Come on. There we go. And we're just going to screw this on the exact same way, pretty much. And let's see if, first of all, it detects the... Okay, it's detected the drive. Thank God. Okay. And now, this I think has a copy of Windows XP on it. We're just going to boot from hard disk here. A disk read error occurred. Okay, well, I think there's a copy of Windows XP on here anyways. We're just going to reset here. I've got a Windows 98 boot disk in the drive. We're just going to configure a FAT32 partition. We are going to go first and change the boot sequence to... we'll do A and C, because again, we'll have to come back here and change this again. So we'll quit, save and exit setup, yes. Floppy drive light is on. Disk oh my gosh. I know this disk works. What is the... Don't tell me the floppy drive has a problem now. I know this boot disk works. I've used this before. Okay, let me try to put in an MS-DOS setup disk. Maybe this drive is bad. If it is, I have a solution. I do have a Windows Me CD, and we'll be able to run F-disk and everything that way. Maybe this is... Because the drive light is coming on, but I wonder if... but it detected... Yeah, diskette drive A, 1.44 megabyte, 3.5 inch. It detected it. Okay, let me grab my Windows Me CD here, and we're going to pump that in the drive. This is hopefully the only time Windows Me will actually save the day. We'll pump out the floppy disk. We'll restart, we'll have to enter setup again. I mean, these are just the kind of problems, man. It's like, how do you explain this? Like, it's so oddly specific that it just makes you go, like, am I the only person who's experienced these issues in this particular sequence of events before? Like, it's crazy. I mean, I thought this was going to be a simple video, and I've been working on it for, like, over...
It is crazy how... everything is going to go right. Ends up going wrong. Everything is completely wrong. Guys, if you haven't watched Fix It, I've watched his channel. This is Michael MJD. With everything going wrong on his channel, you never know what's going to go right at all. Like he said in the beginning, nothing goes wrong with this channel at all. Everything goes wrong. Everything goes wrong. So yeah, that's the update right now.
Over 8 hours now. I mean, I'm working the whole day on this thing. Okay, so it's going to boot from the CD-ROM. We're going to boot from the CD-ROM. What? What do you mean invalid system disk? It just booted off the CD-ROM. What is going on with this thing, man? This doesn't make... Look at this. Okay, boot from CD-ROM. Invalid system disk. Okay, maybe there's not enough RAM for it to create the RAM drive. That could potentially be the issue. At least that's my current theory. Okay, let's go ahead. I know I keep saying that over and over again. I know we can boot from the 98 unintended boot CD, and it can create the RAM drive. It was able to do that just fine. Yeah, there's the RAM drive. So it's not that I've never had that happen on that CD before. I do not know why it is. Why? I don't know. Okay, let's just run fdisk here. Yes, enable large disk support. Yes, NTFS partition should be treated as large because there is an NTFS partition on here. There it is. So we're just going to delete partition. We're going to go with number 3, delete non-DOS partition. We're going to go with, well, we're going to do with 1 and 2. We're going to delete both of these here. Non-DOS partition deleted. And we're going to delete non-DOS partition 1. Yes, non-DOS partition deleted. Okay, so now we can create a DOS partition, create a primary DOS partition. It'll verify the drive integrity here. Do you want to use maximum available size? Yes. I think that goes up to like 2 gigs. Though it froze at 13%, that's not a great sign. I think 98 here uses up to 2 gigabytes. Okay, it is going along. It just froze there at 13% for a little bit. So, okay, I'm still optimistic. And I guess it's done. Okay, so we will restart. Oh, yeah, it's not going to redrive C. We'll just abort. Okay, fail. Setup cannot find some required... Or no, didn't I say... I thought I said quit to DOS. Didn't I say quit to DOS? I don't know why. I mean, I thought it was trying to go to the C drive, but then it should give you the option to change the drive letter. But yeah, we'll format the C drive. Oh, it only did like 1 gig. Okay. Yeah, it looked like it was trying to start the setup, which we obviously don't want it to do, but we do want it to format the drive. So, all right, we'll just let it. We'll let it go through this. What format? What format terminated? What do you mean? Why did it just terminate the format? Like, I did not tell the system to restart. Okay, I'm going to say exit to DOS. Oh, maybe I didn't go down here. Maybe I just hit 9. Well, if you hit 9, it should... Yeah, it does the same thing. Fail. Abort.
Abort.
Can you just... Well, no, you can't. And then I guess it tries to start, okay, press any key. Okay, there we go. Alright, so let's just run fdisk again, and just make sure... Okay, there's a primary DOS partition onto the C drive now. So now if we exit, and we run format, C:, yes, of course this is the same format command, so if it just terminates the form... I've never had that happen before, ever. Not ready? What do you mean not ready? You're a freaking hard drive. You don't get to decide if you're ready or not. I mean, okay.
I decided to try and start a Windows NT 4 instead.
So, unpartitioned space, we're going to install format using the NTFS file system, which is fine. Setup cannot format the partition because it is too large. Alright, we'll create a smaller partition, that's fine. We'll delete partition, enter, L delete, create partition. Let's just make it let's do 2 gigabytes, or just 2,000 megabytes. Install it on here, format using NTFS. There we go. Oh my gosh, that is so amazing to see. I'm not going to jinx myself, though. Let's just see what happens. Though this doesn't look good because this is exactly what the DOS format command did, and then it just gave up. This is probably going to throw some error message. Okay, so I've got a new theory. We're not getting anywhere with this. We're just going to do a reset here. Windows NT's minimum system requirements are 110 megabytes of available hard disk space. So I'm going to create a partition that's like 200 megabytes. Perhaps it's just overkill. 200 megabytes. Oh, 7%. We were on 0% for about 2 minutes, so that is, I am running a stopwatch now. Alright guys, so it's been over 20 minutes, and we're still here at 7%, so I don't think we're getting anywhere, and to be honest, I think that's a good stopping point for this video, because this thing has gone on way longer than I thought it was going to, and I'm just honestly pretty tired, guys. I think this is a good stopping point for this video. I mean, hey, we got the power supply in. It works just fine. You know, the CD drive works, no problem at all. There's obviously some sort of issue with the floppy drive there because it wasn't reading off of a known working floppy disk, so that's going to have to be looked at. And obviously, whatever's going on with the hard drive, I would just honestly like to get an IDE hard drive for this thing, but I don't really see why, because this drive works. There's no reason why, I mean, because the computer right now is just seeing it like any other IDE hard drive, just through that adapter. So, I don't know, I mean, maybe it is on its way out as well, but it worked when I plugged it into my main computer, and I could read files off of it. I didn't try to boot off of it, just reading files off of it. So, yeah, there's a lot of variables at play, but I mean, I think this is, like I said, a good stopping point for this video. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this one for what it was, even if that's not the most exciting thing in the world. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I just said that. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed this. Be sure to, can you tell I'm a little bit tired? Be sure to get subscribed and notifications and all that jazz. And thank you for watching, if I haven't already said that. And I will see you, as always, in the next video.
I think what that was. That jazzy tune in it. I've been recording for hours and hours. Yes, I did say to be prepared for half hour, 50 minutes, 45 minutes, hour, 2 at the least. But, hey, this is a good stopping point here, guys. Hope you like it. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. And don't forget to check out his crazy channel, Michael MJD. Because, oh, brother. Anything goes wrong, and you never know it will make you laugh. So, yeah. I'll see you in the next video. Later. Oh!
Thank God the sun came up again. Made it through another week, so I'ma call my friends and pour a drink YOLO, double cup solo. Take this fast life and turn it into slow-mo. There ain't